Thursday. It's Broker Talk. Three white guys talking about real estate. The unvarnished truth. You don't like that, Jim? That is what it is. I would have said old white guys talking about real estate, but
It's making it worse.
okay. Uh, but no matter what color, race, code, religion, mask, don't wear a mask, you'll probably learn something in the next 30 minutes if you stand and listen. We are brokertalk.com, broker-talk.com on your computer dial. I'm joined here every week by Jim Lowenstern from Castles Unlimited.
Who's going to be the announcer next week?
I run the show, so probably me.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. So,
You're doing fine, Larry. Don't
well,
let me
thank you.
interrupt.
I needed that support. I get all those letters, during the week about what a good job I'm doing. Um, each week, we talk to someone who is very good at their job or in their area. And today we have Jeff from Naples, Jeff Feldman. Welcome, Jeff. And
Italy or Florida?
Yeah,
well,
definitely Florida. Definitely.
definitely Florida.
Yeah.
Um,
Hello, gentlemen. Thank
I
you for having me.
Well,
Hi, Jeff.
it's a pleasure to
Welcome.
have you here. One of the things I'm always fascinated about is where real estate agents come because everybody thinks we're all the same, and I've yet to find anybody that's the same. So I do know you grew up in Massachusetts, but you've been in Naples, Florida for many years.
Yes.
You studied gerontology in college. Can you explain what that is? And you seem to be in the exact right spot for that.
Indeed, yes. So gerontology is the study of aging in the elderly. And I just happened to get into the field because my father suggested it. If you really want to know, I was kind of lost at the moment. I didn't know what to do. Very fascinated with the study, death and dying, living, aging, statistics. Very fascinating, and had no plans of getting into real estate, which has now been over 23 years. Just really learned a lot of street smarts from the education I never would have thought I would have gotten. So it's really helped me out a strong life value as well with people in addition to just business and being a father and a husband too. Well,
Sure.
not so much a husband. I still get in trouble.
You always will. That's how you stay married. Uh, yes, dear, is usually the right answer. I've found. Let me ask you a question. Does your father have a sense of humor?
He does. In fact, he also looks like George Carlin.
I hope not now. I hope from when George Carlin was alive.
Alive, yes.
That's great. What's the market in Naples when your neighbors come up to you and say, "How are we doing? What's going on?" What do you have to say?
It's a great question, Larry. So a year ago, I noticed we had over 7 months of inventory, which is pretty typical, actually. We've had a strong buyer's market now since 2011 when our market recovered.
Buyer's
Um,
market?
Buyer's market. We have not been dealing with multiple offers, bidding over asking price. This just started about 4 months ago,
Huh.
just
Interesting.
transitioned. So I checked the data before our call today, and now we have a month of inventory. So we've dropped drastically in 1 year. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Wow.
I recall when I was selling real estate in Florida, very similar. I mean, things could be on the market for a year or two.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
and then that was one of the reasons I went back to Boston to sell real estate
Hmm.
because I heard of all the bidding wars and never looked back. Even though I still have my license in Florida, um, would you say consistently, Larry, we have about 1 minute's worth of inventory at all times? No,
It's
no, I'm serious though.
right.
I mean, that's no joke. It
Right.
comes on the market, it is off the market.
Yeah.
It actually is held back. You can't even get it sold fast enough.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
something came on last night, they're not taking offers to Monday. It would go today. It
Right.
would have gone last night.
Right. The coming soon is really going now. Is really what it is. It's
No, the coming soon is it's already sold.
yeah. Yeah. these are what the listing agents will call the good old days from from now. The buyer's agents, they're saying the days of hell.
Well, if interest rates go up precipitously, yeah, in the end, and the party ends, there'll be a lot of real estate brokers that wouldn't know what to do with their time. It's like I have to show property, I have to get listings. They're not just, everything's just not going to come to me.
I have to work.
Yeah, I have to work exactly.
But I think I know all of us. We also like to work. So, what drives you, Jeff? What makes you feel great about it when you're out there talking to people and helping them buy and sell their properties?
Well, I really actually like to be in difficult situations. I like to resolve conflict, issues, problems, whatever. Larry, you don't know this about me, but I actually enjoy martial arts. I studied Krav Maga for several years, and I'm trying to get back into it. So I love the stress. I like to be prepared when the real pressure is on. So I like to be in the middle. That's one of the things I enjoy about real estate is helping couples, helping widows, widowers, divorcees, anyone, first-time home buyers that think it's like so stressful to go through the buying or selling process. But I think, Larry, the difference is the pro versus the amateur.
Right.
And that's what I think, Jim, you're talking about as well. Like in this market, the pros will survive and we will do fine. It's very challenging. And if we've been around long enough, you've been through this type of market and you can sustain it. You have a database, you've got referrals. If you're newer and you think it's just going to be a cakewalk, you're in for a big surprise. Absolutely.
Right.
So I enjoy resolving any stress or any issues with customers. That's really what I enjoy. Being the calmest person in the room is what I like to say.
Do you tend to work more with buyers or sellers or new construction builders? Where do you find your expertise, Jeff?
There's very little new construction here. So, and it's just organic, but I deal mostly at 50-50. I track all my numbers and my closed sales, and it's about, 55, 45, 55 buyers, 45 sellers. But again, this year is, who knows? Even. This is unheard of in this 2021 year. We've never seen this type of market so tight. We have just over 1,000 homes for sale in Naples and 7,000 realtors. So have fun.
So that's very odd. So I recall Florida, it was every day another alligator got paved over, another subdivision went in. So it was always new. People came down, they wanted new construction. And you're saying not the case in Naples. Is that zoning or why Naples?
Right. So what happened is, number one, last year with COVID, the builders just stopped building. They took a break, and now there's not as much land. There's more construction coming out, but it's delayed. But the other issue is supplies. Some builders are normally 8 to 10 months. Now they're a year and a half to build a house.
Let alone
that's
the
what
wood cost. The cost of wood is just as.
They don't use wood in Florida. Come on, Larry.
That's trust Jim.
I don't sell in Florida.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What is the construction?
Concrete block.
Yeah.
CBS.
Texas
Cinder
is a lot
block.
of that as well.
And you see a lot of BS.
A lot of BS.
It's called concrete block structure, right?
Okay. Yes.
CBS.
Yep.
And slate roofs. And what else?
Tile roofs. They're
tile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Tile roofs, like the red tile. Yeah. And a lot of passive solar. If you're going to see solar, it's not so much. Well, maybe now it's photovoltaic. I remember when I was selling, it was you'd have passive solar, and you got your domestic hot water.
Jim, wasn't this like 25 years ago, 30 years ago?
It was more than that.
Yeah,
it was more than
let's
that. They
start
had
talking about what it was like when you were there.
Well, they're still not using wood because of the termites, right?
Yeah, they've gotten bigger in the last 25 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've grown.
Yeah. The termites are bigger?
Just kidding. I'm joking.
Yeah. No, I know what is bigger. They've got iguanas all over Florida now.
On the East Coast, yeah. We have iguanas on the East Coast.
Well,
on the West
some of the pictures.
You were talking earlier to me, Jeff, about people not just coming from directly down the East Coast, from Boston or New England, from Canada, from Michigan, the Midwest, but now you're getting them from other parts of the country. Where are people coming from to go to Florida, specifically Naples?
Yeah, we're seeing for the first time, and I've been selling in Naples for over 18 years, so I've been here long enough to understand the market. California, which is rare, Colorado, Iowa, Idaho, like it's just unbelievable where people are coming from to buy property. Texas, as well. And normally we'd see Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, some New York, Michigan, Wisconsin, but we're seeing a ton of people from the West move here. They can work from home, I guess, as part of it as well. And maybe they're just sick of the taxes. I don't know what it is, but it's unbelievable.
There
How many
isn't any
people,
state tax in Florida, is
not in
there?
Florida, no, no,
No income tax.
no.
No
And we're selling
income tax.
property sight unseen to people from the West Coast. They don't care. It's
Right, because
unbelievable.
for them, it's a fraction of what real estate costs there.
Exactly. If it's under $1 million, they're thrilled, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me feel as though it might be some political motivation because of the states that you mentioned. I don't know if you can't ask people.
They're trying to bring more Democrats to the state. What are you trying to say?
Well, no, Trump supporters. But let's not talk about politics.
You brought it up. I was just curious.
What is the culture like in Naples?
Well, it's a good question. I was mentioning that earlier, is that the culture's changing. It's changing from it's not as much as people thought a sleepy town, like, no joking, Jim, but 25 years ago, it was a lot slower pace and the population was a lot older.
No, the last time I was in Naples, it was probably about 11 or 12 years ago.
Okay, it's changed a lot since then.
It was sleepy.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of love bugs all over my car. Like
that hasn't changed.
What is it with those love bugs? Is it every year?
During the summer, yes.
Wow.
Love bugs. Well, let's find out what they are when we come back. We're going to take a moment here for a short break.
I see the sun on the right.
We're back.
It looks like it.
We've been talking about the beautiful sunset. What is the name of that beach?
Vanderbilt Beach.
Vanderbilt.
It's where the Ritz-Carlton is. It's one of the top Ritz-Carltons.
Oh yeah, that's where I stayed. I mean, I didn't stay at the Ritz. I had a timeshare next door.
Yeah.
But yeah, my car was totally covered with love bugs every day. I literally had to like jump in the car and drive it around the block a few times to get all the bugs off.
Yeah.
They were really nasty.
He's back to the love bugs, Larry.
Well, I remember having lunch at the Ritz-Carlton on the beach, and love bugs were literally like landing on the plate, your glass of water, whatever.
Yeah,
They
they're
were
juicy.
everywhere.
They're real juicy. When they hit your car, they explode.
Oh, lovely.
Aren't we like
Not a big selling point for
exactly
for Naples, I might say.
exactly.
This is not what the Chamber of Commerce wants to be
Like
listening to right
talking
now.
about the black flies in New Hampshire. What are some of the other
Cranes
horrible
Beach.
things? Yeah,
The greenheads.
yeah.
Well, you know what the most
green-
dangerous, the most dangerous animal in Naples, since we'll flip it here, is actually red ants. It's not the snakes or the alligators. It's the red ants. That's the worst thing you'll deal with.
Part
Really.
of me wants to say a divorcee, but
So what other lovely reasons should I be moving to Naples?
The mosquitoes are
ants,
nice. The no-see-ums.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah.
What no-see-ums?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember them too.
Yeah.
Um, Back to what you learned and how you serve your community, Jeff. Um, Talk a little bit about how gerontology, the study of gerontology, has helped you in your business.
Yeah. Well, there's a really good book, and I'm just going to endorse it now by Daniel Goldman called Emotional Intelligence.
Oh
If you
yeah,
haven't heard of it, it's a
yep,
really good book.
yeah, it's
So
right
you
back
learn,
there.
yeah, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Just learn how to listen to understand, and and listen with the intent to understand, and not it's number 5 with Stephen Covey's 7 Habits, not the intent to respond, but listen to understand. So I learned a lot about being a good listener. My wife won't agree with that, but hey, she's not on the call, so it doesn't matter. She doesn't get to vote. But learning how to listen, how to be a problem solver, and patience is probably number 1. I learned a lot about patience because as a real estate professional, we get a lot of things thrown at us,
yeah,
and we have to be patient with the process and people's emotions as well. So that's helped a lot with the
and our
process.
own emotions.
Yeah, well, I'm still working on that.
Yeah, you can easily be triggered,
Yeah.
and often you want to say, do you want to be right or do you want to finish the deal? You
Hmm.
know, you can be right, and it becomes an emotional issue. So much of it comes down to it because it's big numbers, and it's a moment in people's lives when they're moving from one spot to another. But Jim, you work a lot. I was thinking about this the other day. You work a lot in brand new construction. So who is your average client, Jim? You're as you're building the properties. I know you're right from the beginning with the builders.
Uh, Typically, young families, 2 income, lots of doctors, lots of lawyers. Typically in the towns I deal in, they're expensive houses, so
Right.
takes a couple of good size uh, incomes to
Sure.
afford them.
And do you have a specific kind of clientele that you can identify, Jeff?
I really don't. I mean, we've got all sorts of, like Jim said, first time home buyers. We have, seniors buying homes for second homes that have plenty of available funds. We've got folks moving here. I just take it as it comes. We're very eclectic here in Naples. It's changed, Jim, and from what it used to be. It used to be just an older town. A lot of people in the winter. I mean, the summer would be empty, totally desolate, and that has changed a lot. There's a lot more infrastructure, and folks are living here more year round as well.
They
So
have
it's a
So
real
air.
good
how's the
spot.
weather there in the summer?
Yeah.
I know obviously it's hot, but when I remember living in Florida, the weather didn't change that much. I mean, there were 50-degree days in the winter, uh, and it doesn't go to. It probably is hotter in Massachusetts on some days than it is in Florida in the summer.
Well, I always say you either have 3 months of winter or 3 months of summer. July, August, and September are really hot months. We get some good rain, but it comes and goes quickly. It'll come through in an hour like a thunderstorm, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's very tropical here. I'm sure you remember that. So we have a lot of nice green grass and nice big lakes and things like that. So and the thunderstorms, you just have to plan around the thunderstorms. As far as the humidity is concerned, you just have to manage it. But it's not that bad. And the hurricanes, and we might as well get that out there while we're talking about it. Even the news, it's like you guys and your blizzards. Half the time they don't even come, and the news sounds like it's the end of the world, and they don't even show up. So the same thing with hurricanes. It's really not as big a deal as the media brings it out to be.
So
Is
when
there?
you're building a house down there, you do have to think about hurricanes. So I know that there were storms years ago where all the roofs were blown off the houses outside of Miami, for example, and they found out that that's because the roofs weren't nailed on. Now, even in New
Oops.
England, yeah, well, in New England we have hurricane uh, code now also to make sure that there's fasteners, the
Florida has
house and the roof.
Florida has
So
always been an area where it's kind of the old west, even though it's the deep south. I mean, it's like individual town zoning. That's why notoriously there has been stories out of Florida. I think more than
so
anywhere
has
else.
has it improved? Are building codes being adhered to? And like, do you live in a house or a condo?
A house.
Okay. Do you have storm shutters? How do you How do you handle,
I put them up one time in 20 years. That's how I
really?
mean, how little affected we are by these storms you guys hear about. It's really not as drastic as, even Irma, almost 4 years ago, the whole state was covered. The eye went over our house and we stayed in the house. There was no damage to our house at all.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, geez, we're hitting all the highlights on why to go to Naples, right?
So Jeff, I hear you like, if you could do anything in the world, it would, after real estate, it would be stand-up comedy.
yes, that's a bucket list of mine, Jim.
Have you done any open mic nights, anything like that?
I'm working on some material, which I'm not going to share now. It's very adult, but I am working towards no profanity, but it is adult humor. So I'm working on some material now that I've got some things written. Yeah.
Well, even the
Okay.
Flintstones was adult humor. We just didn't understand it as kids. Most of the
Well,
When was the last time you watched the Flintstones, Larry?
my wife and I are 8 years apart. My wife and I, we were 8 years apart, Larry.
Yeah.
We met when she was 12 and I was 20. It was awkward, but we made it work. But she is 8 years younger than me, but that's just one of my, that's probably one of my cleaner jokes, but that's just something, for example.
You
But
were
yeah,
in the South at that point. Is that when you first moved down south?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I just, yeah, Jim, I like to make people laugh. It feels good. It's free. And life is
So were
short.
you really 20 when you met her
No, I was 26 and she was 18, for real. That's the true story.
in
I
Massachusetts?
checked her ID to make sure she was 18.
In Massachusetts?
No, we met here in Florida. We met online, AOL, in a chat room in
Wow.
1999 when there was
Wow.
dial-up.
Wow.
I remember AOL.
Yeah. The first thing she heard is, "You've got mail."
She said, "Not from you. Delete."
Yeah. That's still, I still have people who I work with that have AOL accounts. AOL just got sold, by the way.
Yeah, Verizon, I think it was Verizon sold them
Yeah.
again.
Again.
They were bought by Yahoo. Verizon bought
That's right.
Yahoo.
It was Yahoo and AOL.
So what's the name of that street in Naples on the beach where they have the biggest houses?
Port Royal.
Port Royal. Okay, like 10 million plus
10
for those
million.
houses?
That'll get you the land, maybe 15 million for the land. Just the land.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
Wow.
that's plus. That's why I said plus.
Plus, yeah, 30 to 50 million with a house.
Wow. And then if you wanted to have a boat, what's the best neighborhood to be in?
It's going to be Aqualine Shores would be nice. And then Royal Harbor would be next. There's some deep water. There's also a place called Connors Vanderbilt in North Naples near the Ritz-Carlton. Larry, I wanted to share also the average purchase price. I looked it up. The median price, which could shock some of the viewers, is actually right around 450 in Naples. So it's probably not as high as a lot of the people think. You can get a pretty nice condo for around 250 and own your own little piece of paradise.
Wow.
In a good area.
Yeah. That gets you not even a parking spot in Boston.
So 250 is how many bedrooms?
2 and 2.
Square feet? How many square feet?
1,000 to 1,200.
Okay, that's not bad. That's reasonable. And there's inventory.
That's again, I mentioned it. A lot of this is who you know, having the contacts, even other realtors making connections. Some of the properties are sold before they hit the market. I'm actually calling the realtor saying, "Hey, I know you got a pending contingency. What's the deal? I got a buyer. Is there any chance you can shake him loose?" It's just a way to use some guerrilla marketing. But again, I'm doing this long enough. I know how to be proactive. I don't just sit around and do nothing. I try to shake the berries off the tree. You never know.
Right. The agents that you see this on some of the real estate pages, the agents that get on there and ask kind of a rudimentary question and hope that somebody in social media is going to give them just the right answer, and then they'll go off and be successful. But the success really comes from really thinking of what your client needs and being proactive, taking action on a daily basis, because you can figure things out. That's what we do. You told me earlier you actually like the hard things. My wife says, "Stop working with crazy people." I said, "Everybody's crazy."
Everyone. Yeah, then you'll have nobody to work with.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Jeff, you do social media?
Not much, Jim. I was talking to Larry. My business is all word of mouth. It's referral based. I don't do any magazine ads, postcards. It's really about the net income. After a long time in real estate, you realize it's how much you take home, not how much you make. So I'm very conservative on what I spend on marketing.
Well, social media doesn't have to cost you anything. I
I
think
think-
I got
It's
a
also a lot of
video
work.
from you. Do you still do those?
I have taken a break. I've just
Oh, okay.
ran out of some time with doing video. Consistency is important. I started in 2010. That's actually what got me into, again, back to being proactive. In 2010, I thought, you know what, I've got to find a way to get out there. And I started doing video.
Right.
It was called Fridays with Feldman. So I,
Right.
post a video every week. But then you start making, you start doing really well, and you just don't have the time to post. It took me 3 hours to post a 3-minute video
Yeah.
with
It
edit. I
takes
did
a
the whole thing
while.
myself.
It takes a while.
Yeah. So I need to get back into it.
We have a guest who from Doylestown, Pennsylvania, and he has a thing called roaming realtor, and he does it on Tuesdays. But he goes out and takes a picture and then tells the story. Actually, they're histories of the house. That's what's cool about where we live is things go back to the 16 and 1700s. Um, there were times when houses were like 1880 to 1920. The houses were just built so solidly for whatever reason. 1970, not so much. So that's my opinion.
You looking at the chat box?
I am not. No, no, not today.
We should run.
Yeah, we'll do.
Did-
We'll stick with the one. But you could
Why?
mention why not mention the real estate awards?
Oh, that's gonna mean that I have to look something up.
Go.
I just
Yeah,
can't do it off
look
the
it up
top of
and
my
pull it.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can keep chatting while I do this.
Yeah. Um, we often do 2 ads in the show, but we're almost over. We've had such a good time. Uh, I like the challenges too. I often when I'm with people at the very end, right before they sign on the exclusive, I say, well, one thing I can tell you, there's going to be at least 3 uh-oh moments and 1 jump off the cliff moment. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'll know what to do because I've done so many of them. But just
Right.
I want to be so then they'll ask you what are the what are the jump off the cliff, and you can explain that. But just keeping people informed before the next step.
Yeah, and Larry, one point that I want to share as well, if realtors are watching this, is as we talked about, is you want to provide amazing service no matter what. Be a giver, because you just don't know if that person knows someone, even if they don't buy a home or sell a home with you,
Right.
they'll remember you. And I love that Maya Angelou quote: "People will forget what you did, they'll forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel."
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
good tip for whoever's listening to this. I just want to share that.
Yeah. I have my
Okay.
tag. Go.
I have it up now if I can.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. Founded in 2018 by the Academy of Real Estate Arts and Sciences, the Real Estate Awards is now offering top real estate professionals a free listing and SEO enhancing links to their own websites for free. If you are a top real estate professional and want to be included in the RE Awards, go to the reawards.com and contact them today. The RE Awards is where you'll find the best real estate professionals.
I hate the fact that we have to sit here and be quiet, in the other ads.
Well, you can always talk.
But no,
I
we
don't-
can't talk.
That doesn't
over
bother me.
you. That's the.
Might bother the viewer.
Yeah.
It's not going to bother me.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. It's been great to have you, and be had.
Yeah, I like your sense of humor. Also, that was one good joke, and I can't wait to see your sizzle reel.
Thank you. Means a lot. Thank you, Jim.
And when I come down to Naples, I will definitely say hi.
I hope,
What's
yeah.
what's the company, or do you work independently?
Yeah, Premier
Turn that
Plus
off,
Realty.
Larry.
Hey,
Larry,
come see us next
please.
week. We have another great guest for you. Thanks so much.
I'm sorry. What's the office again, Jeff?
Premier Plus Realty.